is
it?
Thursday, the 5th, I think, maybe.
Happy
November.
Thanksgiving.
Merry Christmas Eve. It's a bit warmer than
8
the past
o'clock.
few days. Nice fall day.
1 hour to go before lockdown.
It's drizzling.
It's very nice
and
weather.
dark. Starting from the top of Maçka Park along the top running path, stony path.
Resuming workout.
I thought that I knew the park pretty well, as I've been running there for nearly 15 years. But now I'm developing a new way of knowing the park through its acoustemology, or knowing through its sound. Acoustemology is a term from ethnomusicologist Steven Feld. In his own words,
which I take to be a study of listening as a knowing in action, a knowing with and knowing through the audible.
one of the more important aspects of acoustemology is the coexistence of a multiplicity of actors and network relations in a sound environment.
Pardon,
Acoustemology, knowing through sound, relates to two other important terms, acoustic ecology and soundscape. There's some friction here, as acoustemology strives to avoid objectivity among the many actors in a given sonic environment.
I just got past.
Acoustic ecology and soundscape deal a little more with the nature of the relationships between these actors, both human and non-human. In this case, people, birds, trees, bottles, construction, runners, weather. One aspect of R. Murray Schafer's term, acoustic ecology, deals with the way humans live in environments. My trail in the park exposed a mashup of humanity. Foreign nannies pushing prams and singing English songs. The social groups of coffee or beer drinkers on the wall. Dog owners, health enthusiasts, Tinder dates that have been forced to relocate from the bar to the park. Some of these sounds have very traceable patterns. For example, weekend afternoons, early mornings, weekday afternoons when school lets out, nighttime revelers, and of course, the next morning, the sound of cleanup. There is clearly a human-centric ecology in place in Maçka Park. But audio alone only paints a partial picture. Acoustemology seeks to avoid a visual-centric model of knowing. But the park is full of sound cues that relate to the visual. And at the same time, knowing the park through sound alone would be incomplete. Think of the silent but judgmental cats staring from their makeshift thrones. The shift of colors as dusk moves into nightfall. The way the Bosphorus peeks through the trees. Helmi Jarvalluoma and Nura Vikman promote sensory memory walks as a way to acknowledge the interaction between all of our senses, not just hearing. During one of these walks, you pay attention to sights, sounds, and smells, which trigger an auditive memory.
A funny smell. I just recognized, which was grandma smell. Isn't that sweet?
Put perfume on before you go out for a run.
The lights are on at Vodafone Stadium, which means there's a Beşiktaş match. Normally, this area would be swarming with people watching the match, drinking, like a rowdy crowd. There would be a ton of sucuk sellers around, so it would be, the smell would be quite strong, whereas right now it smells like fall and
Jarvalluoma's sound walks also show the value of moving through a landscape to understand the acoustic borders of a territory. Rounding a bend and unmasking construction sounds. An opening in the trees gives way to waves of traffic from below. The sound of the telepheric as it passes overhead. The dominance of sounds not coming from within the park at all. There is one more way of knowing the park, knowing it through time. observing changes occurring at different hours, days, months, years. The change of weather from season to season is one of the most finely tuned relationships I have with the park. It dictates what I wear, how fast or long I may run, the time of day I choose to run, and the sounds they shifted to. These gradual changes are noticed by many runners. Consider this passage by novelist Haruki Murakami in his memoir, What I Talk About When I Talk About Running.
Whenever the seasons change, the direction of the wind fluctuates like someone threw a switch, and runners can detect each notch in the seasonal shift in the feel of the wind against our skin, its smell and direction. In the midst of this flow, I'm aware of myself as one tiny piece in the gigantic mosaic of nature. I'm just a replaceable natural phenomenon, like the water in the river that flows under the bridge toward the sea.